Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about muscle spasms and the experiences that Heath has had with the muscle spasms.
Well, muscle spasms can be good, they can be bad. The good ones that I have actually like release the tension in my legs and stuff like that. And actually, like I don't know how to really explain it unless you've experienced a muscle spasm or you've been paralyzed.
We have a video. We finally was able to catch it on video. We have
Yes.
been waiting forever. Heath hand having a muscle spasm.
They do that sometimes.
I will say sometimes I notice that when we touch you,
Yeah.
it'll cause a muscle spasm.
It does. Like if you notice, you can see me touching my leg now, and it's not causing them.
Yeah.
But like if I'm laying in the bed a lot of time and I'm stretched out, and I touch my leg in the exact same position, it'll cause my leg to shake and stuff. And that's normal. That's a normal part of having a spinal cord injury because what it is is a miscommunication between the brain and the muscles in your body. And it caused, like yesterday, for example, I was having really, really bad muscle spasms. And even this morning some. And those that are like, pull me like real tight. You ever notice, like if I'm sitting here and I just, like that, it's because I'm having a muscle spasm down the side, right here, and those hurt. The ones that just kind of like jiggle me a little bit, those actually feel good because they release the tension in my muscles and my legs and my arms and stuff.
I will say sometimes pain can cause muscle spasms as well. Like, I guess he can't feel the pain.
Yeah.
And so it can trigger a muscle spasm. What else are other things like when Heath lays on his side, like when Heath was bedridden for 3 weeks almost, when we would turn him or I would turn him, he would really have a lot of muscle spasms. So I noticed that.
And I think that's because I've been in that position for such a period of time.
Yeah.
Like when my legs bent and I'm just like laying like this on my side.
Yeah, we were
and
doing
then when
like
I turn
every 2
over
hours.
when I turn over and stretch out, it just has all those muscle spasms just come rolling out. And I guess it's a way, like you said, just to release the tension in the muscles and stuff like that.
I will say I think it's also, no, this is just me thinking, is the fact that those muscles aren't being used anymore. So I think that also causes it. But I did see somewhere where someone was saying that, the brain is actually sending the signal to those muscles. So, I mean, just because your spinal cord is injured doesn't mean that your brain's not still working to put that message out there to say, hey, you need to move your muscles or your legs or whatever. I mean, that's just kind of me thinking. I don't want to put false information out there.
Well, that brings up something too as well. Think about, like, I'm an incomplete. So my spinal cord is still intact even though it's damaged. Right. So for someone who's got a complete injury, their spinal cord was completely severed in half. I wonder why, like I've met guys or talked to guys that have had complete injuries and they still have muscle spasms. So I still wonder how, I don't know if it's just, I don't know how it works.
Is it the fact that the muscles aren't being used? We kind of did a little research on it prior to this video because for years we didn't know information about it, And so a lot of things we call them muscle spasms. I know a lot of other content creators call them spasms. Yeah. But we have always called them muscle spasms. I don't know why we have. Was it by a doctor?
Well, that was just what, whenever I was at rehab or whatever. Mm-hmm. When I initially went to rehab, I wasn't really having any issues with muscle spasms. And I had to go back to the hospital and have a knee surgery. And then when I came back, one of my physical therapist, absolutely amazing guy. He said, you have a muscle spasm. He said, what's going on? He said, we got to work on this. And it can be due to exercising because when I was in therapy, they would bend my knees, like laying flat on my back. They would bend my knee all the way up to my chest, stretching it out and stuff like that. I don't do it quite as much like that anymore. I still stretch some.
Yeah, we stretch your ankles and stuff.
Not as much like putting my knees on my chest stretching me anymore.
I will say sometimes for me they can be bothersome because if he has them really bad, like yesterday, it like shakes the whole bed.
Yeah.
If I go to, because I sleep hard, so if I go to sleep prior to him not having them, I usually sleep the whole night through with no problem. But if he goes to sleep before me, and I'm trying to go to sleep, it's like the bed is just shaking.
You know,
like a
you
vibration.
got your own vibration bed, like in the hotels and stuff like that.
Right. And so yesterday it was kind of hard because, like I said, the bed just kept shaking.
For me, like when they're like really hard like that and don't let off, they hurt. But then I also start feeling hot as well, and it makes my whole body feel like really really hot when I have them really bad. I don't know if you've ever noticed before, but I'm trying to see if I can make my leg jump a little bit. See,
it doesn't do it when you're in a wheelchair. Would you say?
Or if I stretch really hard sometimes.
Yeah. So how would you say they help you?
Well, like for instance, like see how I don't have any finger use, and sometimes if I have muscle spasms at the right time or the right point, I can grab something and pick it up. Or I don't have triceps, so like, can you put my hands above my head? But sometimes I'll have a muscle spasm and it helps me straighten my arm out, like to move the covers, like sometimes the covers be in the wrong place, and instead of having to use like linking my fingers and like pushing the covers away like this, the muscle spasm trigger my triceps to work, and it helps me push the covers down or stuff like that.
And I will say the worstest one, and he's only really ever had one that was really bad, is he was sitting in his like wheelchair and it just drawed him sideways.
I have those.
That was painful.
Yeah, I do have those quite often. Like this morning I was having them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it hold on, let me lean over a little bit so they can like see my side. But like right here down, like let's just say I'm leaning like this, and if I had like a really bad one, it would say, and notice my face pulls tight and it like pulls me completely over like this. And those hurt. Those do not feel good at all.
And some people will see it and they'll be like, "Oh, he's moving his legs."
Yeah, or moving
it's
my
involuntary.
Yeah,
it's not something he can help. It just happens. This is Heath's hand having a muscle spasm.
I have them sometimes depending on the way I move or how I turn or something like that. Or if I stretch too hard, it makes my hands have muscle spasms like this right here. Sometimes my legs jump around, all kinds of stuff. These right here don't bother me too bad, but the ones that kind of like pull my muscles really tight, they hurt. But the ones that just kind of release the tension, like this gentle shaking, those don't feel too bad. Those actually help relieve the tension and stuff in my legs and my feet. Okay. Then right there in my hands, how that one's doing like that, I have no control over that. I'm not doing that myself.
Yeah, as you can see, his fingers still stay the same.
It's just...
It's wild.
And if I move, see my legs
there's
are
legs.
shaking right now.
They're shaking now. Yep.
And then my hand goes back to shaking and stuff.
Muscle spasms. Like, he had, knee, when I'll be getting him ready, his whole knee will come up and just knee me, And I'm like, "Oh, you're trying to knee me,
I'm like, Valley, you better watch out. I'm going to get you in the neck or whatever.
But no, I know he can't help it. Are those painful? Like when it moves your knees up?
Yeah, the ones that jerk my leg up like that right there.
Right.
Those hurt because it pulls in my knee and stuff.
Right.
But the ones where I'm just kind of gentle, those are okay. But then the ones that are going crazy, those are the ones that are really big.
So what are some things that you do to help with muscle spasms?
I do take a medicine for muscle spasms, Baclofen, and it does help some. But if I skip a day or whatever, I can actually tell that I haven't taken it or whatever. If you apply gentle pressure to my leg when I got the mild ones, it'll help them stop sometimes. Or if you stretch my ankles or stretch my feet, stuff like that. Or if I just really stretch hard like this right here, it'll kind of make them jiggle, and then it'll relax down. because I can feel them coming on. Like sometimes, I don't know how, it's hard to explain to y'all, but like you can feel it tightening up in my legs or in my arms and stuff. And so I try to get them to go ahead and spasm, because when you feel that tightening, and then it doesn't let go, those kind of bother me and kind of hurt as well.
And I will say, as a caregiver, you should never try to move him when he's having a muscle spasm.
Especially the hard ones.
Yeah, it could, one, hurt you, and two, it could probably potentially hurt him, break something or whatever. I mean, they're not, usually, like, if I go to turn him, I have to stop and wait for it to just go on and shake out. So I do advise not to move someone that is having a muscle spasm, or try to like bend legs or whatever, because I think you could probably potentially harm him, and you could harm yourself, because like say at that point his body is like drawn real tight, and it's not
real
gonna
still.
He's not gonna go anywhere, and you're just gonna probably throw your back out or something like that.
And like the real hard ones, I'll use my arm as them. Like, say this is my leg, and you go catch me up under my knee to bend my knee, and you're already in the process of picking it up, and then my leg stuck up in the air like this, it's shaking like that. But you just have to lower it back down and let it relax again, and then try again sometimes.
So in closing, if you are dealing with muscle spasms, I hope maybe this video provided you some useful information, or if you're a caregiver, it provides you useful information, because like I said, you don't want to move someone that's having a muscle spasm.
The hard ones.
The hard ones.
The gentle ones, like just my fingers wiggling,
right,
those are okay.
Because you can, like I say, you can hurt yourself. And there have been times that I tried to move him when he was having a muscle spasm, because it didn't look hard to me, and I would pull like my back muscle or stomach muscle or my arms.
And then there's also no give either, because I'm just so stiff.
Yeah, so I would recommend that, So I hope as a caregiver, if you're watching this provides useful information. And we will see you in the next video.
Much love, y'all.